this evening, it can often take a while to perfect your own makeup routine, so letting someone else do it isn't always easy. But for big occasions like your wedding, it's good to share the load with a professional makeup artist. Rakhee has over 20 years of experience in the hair and beauty industry and has a company called Raks Bridal. She's just won East Midlands Makeup Artist of the Year at the British Asian Awards Wedding Awards, and she joins us here today. Rakhee, it's not the first time you've won, is it?
No, that's right.
Tell us about that.
With the Oceanic Consulting events, this is the third award that I've won, and different categories. There's been English Wedding Awards, and then there is the Asian Bridal Awards. So, yeah, the first one was I think about 4 years ago.
Okay, so then you got the bug.
I did. I did.
That's fantastic.
And, it's quite a nice feeling.
Yeah, good. And Rakhee, how did you get into the industry?
I was kind of thrown in the deep end, I think, as most people are. I came from abroad, which is Tanzania, and I was just doing this as a hobby, just hair and makeup for friends and family. And then my auntie's like, no, you have to go out there and, start earning a living out of this if this is what you really want to do. And then that was it. Just made some business cards, dished them around, and the next thing I know, I was doing bridal hair and makeup, and then obviously henna as well I started doing. So yeah, it's been a real amazing experience.
And first of all, how do you gain the bride's trust? Because I mean, you've got this very special connection with the bride, and it's this big day. So what happens there? How do you get that trust?
So initially, when the inquiry comes through, you have a chat over the phone, and then you would ask to meet up and have a consultation with them. If they're happy with the prices, if they like you as a person, I guess, because they really do need to connect with you, they'll arrange a trial, and that's when it really starts happening. And then from there onwards, I think the trial is the most important session, because they would actually try and see if they can work with you, and you build a relationship from there.
Okay, and now what I understand is you've worked all over the world with your work. So tell us about that. Where have you been? What kind of brides have you worked with?
Mainly there have been Asians, but they've been from all different communities, all the different Asian cultures. So it's been quite interesting. It was about 10 years ago when I had a first international booking. Just had an email to say, can I have a quote, please? And then I spoke to this lady, and the thing was that her sister, who was getting married, did not speak any English. She only spoke Hindi and Spanish. And she said to me, would you like to come over, and would you be able to help my sister out as long as you can speak Hindi? And I said, yeah, that should be absolutely fine. And her name was Lata, and she said to me, my sister, although she doesn't speak, I'll be there to translate it all, so you'll be fine, And I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then a few years later, she got married in Dubai. She met that person, her husband, on the same evening, and it was just amazing, because all she said was, I never wanted an arranged wedding. I always want to fall in love. And she met her man that night. I'd done her hair and makeup as well as a bridesmaid. And then she called me out in Dubai when she got married 3 years later.
Isn't that beautiful? Hey?
And then to see their sister, who had learned so much English in that time, it was just wonderful to work with all three of them again. So it was the mom, the sister, and the bride as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that just gives us an example of how it feels to be part of somebody's special day.
Yes.
What else have you got to say there?
I think you do keep in touch, and you do get a lot of recommendations from their friends and families. So it is just overall a really nice experience. So I'm doing a bride later on in the year where I met her a few years ago, and I hadn't realized that, she was sitting on the same table as me later on for dinner. And I was like, okay, I'll try and remember you. But as soon as she sent me a photograph of her, I'm like, yes, I remember you now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to working with her later on this year.
And Rakhee, how do people find you? Is it word of mouth? Do you have a website?
I have a website. It's called raksbridal.co.uk. I have Instagram, I have Twitter and Facebook. Social media obviously does play a big role in getting me clients. There is also a Facebook page called Recommended Asian, which is obviously for people to go and put the recommended people they've worked with. So I do get a lot of bookings from there as well, which is nice, because they have used me and then they're referring me to their friends and family.
Okay, yeah, great. And what would you say to somebody new coming into the industry?
Do
Words
your
of
homework.
wisdom.
I say do your homework because it's not all about the price. I think the experience is so important, and being able to give that quality service is so important. There are so many people who've just gone and trained with other makeup artists and gone and said, oh, I can do it for this much price, because obviously the wedding industry is getting very expensive and people will shop around, but it's not always just about, the expense. You do have to actually see what's out there.
Thank you. You were listening to Rakhee Matharu, who has just won the East Midlands Makeup Artist